Okay, welcome everyone to the Rise Reimagining Inclusive Self
Sure.
Empowerment
Like what?
Workshop. And I am excited because this is all very new. This is only our second workshop that we are doing. And I'm excited for all of you to join us. My name is Carrie Danny. Just a very quick little intro on me. I am born and raised here in California, graduated from Fresno Pacific University. I have 18 years experience in nonprofit and disabilities education. But I am currently homeschooling my own kiddos. Both of my kiddos are autistic, and I'm homeschooling them and kind of doing a unschooling approach, but it's going great. And oh, again, if we just ask everybody to mute yourselves, just so cut out the background noise. Thank you so much. And I am the vice president and the founder of Rise. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about how Rise came to be. So this is just a little bit about me. In 2017, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and it very quickly spread throughout my ribs and hips and spine and skull. And I have been on chemo ever since. I've been on chemo since 2018, and it's exhausting and it's tiring, and it's totally changed my life. I've had to, give up so many things that I love because of my energy, because of my strength, to give up a career that I loved, lost my identity when that happened. And during all of that, also, my kiddos were about 7 months old and 2 years old when I got diagnosed. And my girlies are autistic, and my youngest one didn't speak until she was 4. And it was just a difficult time trying to figure out how to be a mom and take care of my own health, adapting to my kids' really high support needs. And it was a massive struggle, physically, mentally, in every way. But I was really, really determined to improve my mental health, to be the mom that I wanted to be, and to be the friend and to be the person that I wanted to be. Because I can very clearly remember being deeply, deeply depressed, and it's not an overnight thing that you can snap out of. Um, but so I started really reaching out for help and just trying to learn what I can do. And just to keep going no matter how hard things are. And little by little, I really, I don't feel that deep depression. I don't feel the anger that I felt. I've learned ways to manage the anxiety, and so I'm excited now to be able to share my hope with others and continue learning all the time myself, and just make these connections and support others. And so I, in 2020, started a support group online for other people living with cancer. And it's been great. We were still doing that group. It's wonderful. It's uplifting. And a lot of people that I know who don't have cancer kept saying, well, I don't know how you do it. How are you being so positive? How are you? And I just realized that everyone needs that self care, whether you have cancer or not. Everyone has stress and frustrations and problems, and it's hard. And I don't think growing up that a lot of us are taught at school or at home or anywhere, really self-care and how to manage our mental health and how to even talk about those things. So I I asked some of the really brilliant other people that I know to join the board and form Rise with me, so that we could try to really bring self-care and open up normalize these conversations for everyone. And so Alicia Vargas, our co-host for today, is one of our board members, and I could say so much about her because I've known her for a long, long time. I think since she was like 18, she used to volunteer with me, and she was a wonderful volunteer. And I've just seen her grow so much over the years, and we've done a lot together. And I am really proud of her for so many things that she has done and continues to do. And I really appreciate having her support for Rise. And so I'm going to go ahead and introduce our co host for today, Alicia Vargas.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Carrie. Um, as Carrie said, I'm Alicia Vargas. Just a bit of my background. I attended Fresno State. I have been in the disability community in some way or another, volunteering, working, just personal relationships for the last 20 years. Um, and like Carrie mentioned, I've known Carrie for the vast majority of those 20 years, and I was blessed to meet her at such a early time to where I was able to take that experience that she helped give me. And now I am in a management position at a day program for developmentally disabled adults where I help coach our staff on how to work with our individuals and how to help them be successful. And then now I'm on the Rise team doing marketing and communications as well. And I'm so blessed to be here and just so glad to get to share with everyone. So a bit about my personal journey. I am healing. I mean, it's an ongoing process, so it's been quite a while, and I've come quite a long way, but I will still say I'm healing from a mentally and emotionally abusive marriage with my first husband. And I'm blessed to have the man in the picture on the left who has helped me with that journey. And it's one of those things where I was very young and had no idea that I was in a mentally or emotionally abusive relationship until probably I was already out of it. And, I think that was the first time where I used the word abusive. At the time, I didn't know what it was. And I didn't realize what it was contributing to my depression and anxiety. And somewhere along the way, I realized that I had depression and anxiety. I just thought I was a little sad and a little wound up. And um, so my mental health journey has dealt a lot with the realization that I was struggling with mental health and putting a name to what I was feeling. And as I've learned more about it and learned how to cope and just learned how to process everything, I've started to be an advocate for just ending the stigma and having that conversation. It's something where the more I learned about it, the more I talked, and the more I talked about it, the more people I found wanted to talk about it and had similar experiences and were just happy to have somebody willing to discuss it in a non-judgmental way because there's a lot of stigma and a lot of embarrassment and a lot of just hush hush feelings around it. So I'm so blessed to be here. I'm excited to interact with everyone and to hear your experiences too.
Okay. So we're going to start like super, super basic. Like, what is self care? Because I know for me and Alicia, there was a time when we were doing, I think, no self care at all and didn't even know what to do to get started. So I love this quote that just says self care is about taking proper care of yourself and treating yourself as kindly as you treat others. It's more than eating well and getting enough sleep. It's nurturing yourself on all levels, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, so you can live optimally. I think sometimes we think, we need to wait for, oh, if I finish this, if I get a new job, if I move, if I something, then things will be better, then I'll be happier, then things will go back to normal. And a lot of times No. But we don't have to wait, and we shouldn't wait. We can find ways to live optimally, even through challenges, even through really difficult times. And this is a great reminder about treating ourselves as kindly as we treat others. That's kind of a test sometimes Alicia and I will do, is like, would I say this to a friend? Would I, how am I treating myself how I really would treat someone I loved? So we want to really talk about nurturing yourself as is, especially at this. It's still a new year. We're just in February. People are making resolutions. Um, but we're trying to focus more not on changing ourselves or fixing ourselves or calling out the negative like resolutions usually do, but just nurturing ourselves as is. And for your self care, that really means doing macro and micro. So, macro, big things like maybe a vacation where you're really going to relax, and that's great. But you got to wait for that, or you got to save up money, or, it's not an everyday thing we can do. Um, Support groups, even like getting routine support. But again, that's not every day. So we also want to really try to develop micro self care, just really small things that we can be doing more consistently and more often. Um, Great examples here: take a nap, stretch your body, and self compassion. We're going to talk a little bit more about those, but all of those things are self care. Even little tiny things really can be self care. And then I just liked this quote here about growth is one of the hallmarks of a living thing. So again, it's not about being perfect or even getting to, you know, some perfect goal. It's about nurturing yourself as is and growing. We're always growing. I'm in my 40s and I am learning new things all the time. So just remember it's okay. We're always all growing and learning.
So, one thing that I know has become really popular is love languages. There's a lot of talk about love languages in your relationships and friendships and how you show love to the people around you. And when it comes to self care, a lot of times in the past, for me especially, I would do things where somebody would give me a suggestion for how to do self care, go to the gym, take a jog, and I would do those things and I would just be miserable every second. Um, and they would swear up and down, it feels great, it'll make you feel better. And I was doing things that weren't my love language. So I started looking at what really works for me. What do I enjoy? And I started doing those things. And that's when I started being able to fit self care in more easily. And I stopped seeing it as a chore because it wasn't something that I felt like I had to do or that I was being told that would make me feel better. Because when I was doing what other people suggested, after a while, I started to wonder, why is this not working for me? What's wrong with me that self-care doesn't work for me? So there's examples of the different love languages. So there's physical touch, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and words of affirmation. And there's examples in each one of things that you can do in each of those things. For me, um, two of my love languages are words of affirmation. So I've tried to focus on positive self-talk and, celebrating the wins and acts of service. So in the past, I would dread doing things like cleaning the bathroom or doing the dishes. And then I started to really focus on how much less stressed I felt after. And I started to really look forward to getting those things done. I still don't love doing the dishes, but I know that I'll be able to relax afterwards and I'll feel less stressed. So I really wanted to focus on it's important to do what works for you. And if something is not working for you, there's nothing wrong with you. You just haven't found your self-care yet. These are a few of the ideas for self-care. We really like to focus on ideas because Carrie and I have talked in the past about how steps to self-care just sounds like you have to do it a certain way. So these are some ideas of really easy ways to fit self-care in. And there are times when I may be able to deep clean my house, and that's great. But there are times when just my mental health means I need to do something a little smaller, like the micro self-care that Carrie mentioned. And that can be something as simple as unfriending or unfollowing someone that's been stressing me out or that's not respecting my boundaries. Just getting outside in the sun and the fresh air, lighting a favorite candle. Um, or one thing that I have really tried to practice doing and has become now a habit, thankfully, is mindful breathing. So I have found that, as silly as it sounds when people tell you, just take a deep breath, the more I've been doing that, the less I feel that fight or flight response of anxiety. Um, so Carrie and I did want to do a bit of an exercise for this. We want, as silly as you may feel at the start, we want to do 1 minute of mindful breathing. So just however you want to do it. If you want to close your eyes, if you want to just stare into space, just focus on your breathing and relax, and we will have a 1 minute time. All right. So that was 1 minute. And we would love to see in the chat what you guys noticed in that minute, or how it made you feel, or was it easy? Was it hard? When I first started working on my breathing, it was a little difficult for me to just focus on that and nothing else. Shoulders relaxed. The more you do it, the easier it is to start to relax your body along with it. Um, for anyone who has health concerns or mental health concerns, I'm sure you've come to really be familiar with the physical toll that takes. So the mindful breathing has really been a way to just center and relax the body, calm the mind, like in the chat, calm the mind. It's I know it's hard to shut off your mind at the start, and hopefully with practice, this is something that will be able to help and be a little easier over time. Next slide.
Okay, so I was still chatting away. I love the mindful breathing. I know Alicia's right. It sounds too simple to work. You're like breathing. What I do that. I'm already doing that. What's but I'm telling you, when my anxiety has been at an all-time high, like sometimes all I can do is breathe, but it really just centers me and helps me calm down so then I can like think rationally and get through what I gotta do. So thank you. Thank you for that. Um, we also definitely want to mention professional help. And again, this is something we really want to normalize these conversations. I know myself, and I think all of the board members of Rise are currently in therapy or have done therapy before. And I really want to stress with counseling and therapy, finding the right type of therapy and the right therapist. There are a lot of different types of therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectical behavioral therapy. There's lots of different ways to do talk therapy, and they're not right for everybody. So if you've tried therapy and it didn't work, I definitely, fire your therapist, find a new one, try a new one, and telehealth. Um, that just, again, you can do it on the phone, you can do it on Zoom. I've done counseling with a therapist over the phone in bed. She would call me in the morning, and I would answer my cell phone and not not get out of my pajamas, not even get out of bed, because I was that low energy. And but it did help to have someone to talk to. And like I said, you don't have to go into an office. There's ways to make it convenient and work it in to your life. Also, asking a doctor about prescription meds. I will just be screaming this from the rooftops forever to end pill shaming. There's a lot of controversy around it. There can be a lot of judgment, I think, around prescription medications. I myself take anxiety meds, and the only advice I would give is that I wish I had started taking them sooner. It it helps me, and I have a stressful life, but I also have a brain that is wired for anxiety and sensory overload and a lot of things. So I take an anxiety med, and I don't consider it a weakness or anything. It helps me, and I'm proud of myself for taking it every day. Um, oh, but I do want to mention this website here, genesight.com. They can test to see which medications work best for you, um, per your DNA, because again, a lot of medications, anxiety, depression medications are not right for everybody. And a lot of people have learned through trial and error, right, that that was not the medication for them. And that can be so challenging. It can make your symptoms worse. It can, there can be complications. So I do recommend that test to eliminate doing that trial and error and find out medications that really works for you. Yeah, in the chat, we've got meds are lifesavers. Quite literally, I would have to agree. Um, Other ways of just, getting involved to join a club or a team or volunteer. And again, this can be a book club. It can be, I would never join a team because I'm bad at sports. I wouldn't make the cut. But it can be a book club. It can be volunteering in an office. I've volunteered for places online. Um, or finding adaptive classes. Again, if your energy level isn't super high, a lot, my local gym I know has like gentle yoga or just a lot of adaptive type of classes and programs. Yes, yay for books. Yeah, absolutely. um and that's the next one. Yeah, books. There are a ton of self-help books out there. um my caveat, of course, I'm always saying, honestly, I don't read a lot of self-help books because I don't like anyone telling me what to do. And so I get really defensive and I'm like, you don't know my life. This isn't going to work for me. But no, there are a lot of great self-help books out there. And again, maybe that's not your thing. Podcasts or apps, there are great apps for mindfulness, meditation, staying organized. Right. I need reminders constantly for everything. So, and having it, in your phone. But yeah, just checking out. And even like a lot of those apps are free, a lot of so it's easy to access these things. Um, Other things too, like having a life coach, or just alternative type things, massage, acupuncture, Reiki, there's a lot of things like that as well that is just making time for yourself, relaxing. I used to get massage once a month and I would fall asleep sometimes in there because it was quiet and my kids weren't nobody was asking me to do anything. It was wonderful. But again, just, whatever works for you. And hypnosis. Okay, I want to mention this. I'm going to do a slide just on hypnosis because I feel like it can be a confusing topic. So hypnosis or hypnotherapy, I have done it myself with a licensed hypnotherapist. It is a real thing. It's not necessarily what you've seen on TV from like at the circus and they make you cluck like a chicken. It's a real thing. There are real people that that practice hypnotherapy. And um, here on the screen, and it shows the resources, the sources if you would want to read more about it. But they've done a lot of studies on it, and hypnosis is really good for for calming the mind and body. It's kind of how they get you into that deep state of hypnosis is by doing like progressive relaxation exercises. So it's a deep relaxation for your body and your mind. So coming out of that, you really do feel like just refreshed and just, yeah, it's great. um, it can also really help you learning to reduce anxiety and sadness, and it changes the brain areas of emotion and self doubt. So that's kind of that thing where the clucks like a chicken like stereotype is that you are more open to suggestion during that state. But if you're working with a real hypnotherapist that is working on your real issues, then they use that. Like in my case, they were saying a lot of positive affirmations. I did hypnotherapy for some trauma, and so yeah, so they were just, building me up with these like positive affirmations that really kind of got stuck in my brain and helped. You do not lose control of your behavior. You do, I remember it. Um, but you are definitely more open to suggestion, and it kind of really removes that filter layer. So I know a lot of times in regular conventional talk therapy, we might tend to filter what we say or censor ourselves or keep things. Um, and when you're in the hypnosis state, you just blurt everything out. So for me, I know I did one session, and in that session, I cried, I yelled, I really, I really let loose a lot of things that I had been repressing in my regular day to day life. It was just too much. But I needed to confront it, and I needed to release those emotions. So um, I definitely recommend hypnosis, and I also know friends who have done it to quit smoking or things like that. So again, it's a real tool, and also again, these studies show that it is as effective as well-known psychological interventions like conventional therapy. So uh, I just keep telling people about hypnosis because I was very, very skeptical when I did it. I didn't think that I could be hypnotized. I went in with no expectation and came out very surprised and relieved, and like I said, really, really expressed, really released some deep emotions, and it was great. Let me check the chat real quick before I move on. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, really. Like I said, I was not, I did not think that hypnosis would work, but it was wonderful. Oh, okay. So we talked a lot about like different things you can do for your self care, and then we kind of want to. I love this slide because it talks about like when to do. I know, again, for me, sometimes I have been so depressed or so just uptight about just just worried, that I'm like I don't even know what to do, or I don't know what would make me feel better right now. Um, but there is a way to kind of help ourselves get more of those happy chemicals. So depending on, again, what you're struggling with day to day, minute to minute, this might change. Um, and then there again, the examples are really practical things that we can be doing, right? So like dopamine, just eating food, completing a task. And I think Alicia had made a great example. Like it doesn't have to be clean my house. It can be organize my desk or clean one room or, completing a task. Again, start small, achievable things. Um, or again, if it's more oxytocin, the love hormone, maybe you do need socializing or maybe animals, even petting animals is a great one. Serotonin, more of the mood stabilizer, sun exposure, being with nature. Again, sounds really easy, but I know I can tend to get really cooped up, especially if I'm not feeling energetic and happy. But just going outside, even if I don't be super active, it does make me feel better. Or even just like, especially where I don't know where you guys are all located, but it's a beautiful day where I am. It's been raining and it's just a nice sunny day. So I'm going to go outside later today. And endorphins, again, if it's more, pain issues, exercising, music, laughter, like, again, things that we should be doing, but sometimes you're so stressed out that, like I said, you can't think of what you should be doing. And yes, I love that you have to, in the comments, hacking is such a, you have to trick your brain. I do. Sometimes I feel like a kid, but I have to trick myself a lot of times. I have to cut my vegetables up really, really small or I won't eat them. But you know what? I'm doing it. Okay. And then, so again, we've talked a lot today about types of things you can be doing, starting your self care, getting it going. But one thing that we want to make sure to mention is letting go of others' judgments, because I'm sure in your life, like mine, everybody has opinions. Everybody, especially if you're a parent, me and Alicia are parents, everybody's got advice, tips, knows it all. Just everybody, there's a lot of judgment out there. And the more that you are doing your self care and doing the things that are right for you and doing the things that are right for your family, there might be a lot of judgment. Um, but, and it's hard to ignore that. And I put this book up there, got to mention it quickly because Alicia and I, a couple of years ago now, did a book club for this book. Here it is, called The Bitch Protocol, A Woman's Guide to Not Giving a Fuck. And it sounds a little harsh, but it's actually it's not about not giving a fuck. It's about loving yourself the way you love others. It's about taking care of yourself so that you can be there for others. And it's yeah, it was the book itself and the book club where we met and talked it out so much was really a turning point, I think, for myself for sure. And Alicia might want to speak to it as well. Um, but it's just really helped us to be, like I said, to do what we know is right for ourselves and ignore that judgment. Ignore that if people don't understand, that's okay. I'm not worried about it anymore.
I love this book. Um, I think a big part of why I loved the book and the book club is because it was very honest, and it's easy when someone says something to pat them on the back and, uh, "You're right. I'm sure you're doing everything you can," but this book makes you think, "Am I? Am I really doing everything I can?" And it made me look at self-care entirely differently because I was so focused on just external things and, what I was or wasn't doing and what was or wasn't doing the right way, or, was I upsetting people? And self-care, I've come to realize, can be internal things like setting boundaries and, you know, um saying nice things to myself once in a while. And it really made me appreciate that, yes, it's great to take a walk. It's great to, go spend time with friends, but then I also need to do the work inside. And um it's those little things that, like we've been saying, I was doing for everyone else and not myself. So I highly recommend this book.
Yes, yeah. And okay, one more thing too, I got to mention about the book was that this was the book, I think for me for sure, but I think for Alicia too, this was the book that changed our internal dialogue. It changed our self talk. I had really critical, really negative self talk. And this book is, yeah, it did make me become aware of it, but also change it. But it made me realize how harsh I was being to myself. And again, I wouldn't say those things to another person. I wouldn't be so harsh to anyone else. Why? Why am I treating myself that way? And it really did change my internal dialogue to so much more positive, but so much more forgiving of myself, so much more compassionate of myself. And that has changed everything, really. Oh, okay. So Um, next up, we want to talk about making self care goals. And again, we would love for you guys to type into the chat with your answers to these questions as well. Alicia and I are going to go through and give our examples, but we would love to hear from you guys as well. So definitely go ahead and start chatting in. Um, and when we're thinking of our self care goals, I put those same four categories that we mentioned in the beginning. And if you were with us last month in our workshop, we mentioned these four categories because, yeah, again, self care is so much more than just a bubble bath or a chocolate bar. Like it's you, yeah, you've got to really be addressing your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. So, what is your current self care? And if it is nothing, that's okay. I have been there. um, but for me, my current self care is alone time. I used to feel so guilty about that, especially as a mom, as a parent. But I need a little bit of quiet sometimes. I need a little bit of alone time to just think straight. Boundaries. I think we should have a whole topic just on this in the future, you guys. But I grew up not even knowing what boundaries were. And so I had to figure out what my boundaries were and then how to hold them, how to enforce them. But that has been so empowering to just do that, to hold boundaries and to know that I can do that and to know that if people are disrespecting my boundaries, like I can hold that. It's okay. And naps and rest. Again, like I used to feel like I need to be more productive and I need to do this and that. But when you're tired, you need to rest. And trying to listen to my body and just sit down, just rest when I need to. What do I want to start doing for my self care? I really do want to be more active and outdoors. I know I can't be super active, especially when I'm on my chemo or when my side effects are really bad, when my fatigue or pain is really bad. But I want to just be even outdoors more. We're trying to gonna fix up our backyard so we can go out there more. If I have to use my wheelchair, okay, I will. But I want to just be outdoors more. I want to really focus on gratitude. I can tend to ruminate. I can tend to obsess on things. So I'm trying to instead of really ruminating on negative things, ruminate. Really, really put my focus on the things I'm grateful for. Even really little tiny things, daily things like just watching my kids learn something new or just being there with my kids, just snuggling them, laughing with them, like the smallest of things. I try to just appreciate that moment and dwell on my happiness. Again, like instead of dwelling on everything that went wrong and every mistake I ever made and all the embarrassing things I've done, those used to be the thoughts that swirl around. Um, I really now just am trying to, focus on all the things that make me happy. Like again, time with my kiddos, doing these workshops. There's a lot of things to be happy for, but you gotta look for them. And how will I maintain my self-care? Because again, you can do something and then really lose steam. It's hard to maintain. It's hard to be doing self-care consistently. So I'm trying to do monthly mom day. And I've been doing that for a little while. We're just like once a month, my sister in law and I go and get coffee. And then we usually go grocery shopping or something because we're busy and we got stuff to do. But it's nice to just, no kiddos. We go out and we get coffee or we get lunch or we just, just relax. Um, Scheduling things, it helps me a lot if I invite someone to go somewhere with me or make plans, even just come over to my house or go over to your house. Again, we don't have to spend money. Come over, I'll make coffee, talk trash, it'll be great. But making plans with somebody else, I'm much more likely to follow through, right? Whereas if I might see an event and oh, that sounds fun, and I sign up, and then it's super easy to bail last minute when the day comes. But if I've planned it with a friend, I don't want to bail on the friend, or we're going to carpool, and so trying scheduling things with friends helps. And then this one super important: reassess and adjust what I need in 6 months, in a year, tomorrow. It's all going to be different, right? So just reassessing what I need, how I'm feeling, and adjust as I go. And then I think it's also important to know what your motivation is, to remind yourself what your motivation is. And so that's me and my girlies. And and that is my biggest motivation, absolutely, is my girls, is being there for them, modeling how to be an adult and a parent for them, but just making memories with them and being there with them. But I didn't put a picture of just the girlies because I think there was a time when I was just hanging on by a thread and really hanging on for my girls. But I am my own motivation also. Now I'm important. I deserve self-care. I deserve the love that I give to everyone else. So me and my girlies is my motivation.
All right, so here's mine. My current self-care, a big one for me has been reading. I used to love to read, and at some point I got so burned out that I couldn't read more than a page at a time. I couldn't remember the last time I finished a book, and it's been about not making excuses. I would put the kids to bed and then I would go to bed because, well, if I read, then I'm going to be too tired in the morning. And so I started working my schedule around something that I used to love to do and am finding that I love to do it again. So it's been a bit about finding myself. Um, Compromise and realistic expectations because like Carrie and I have talked about, I used to just stress if the house was dirty, and I could not relax if every bit of the house was not clean. And now I have learned that part of my self care is to compromise and, finish a task or clean a room, but then let myself relax and do the rest some other time. It doesn't all have to be done right this second. And then personal time, like Carrie, that mom guilt would kick in. And especially if the kids would want something right then and there. It took a lot to start to be able to explain to them, hey, I need a few minutes before I can focus on what you need. So give me 5 minutes, give me 10 minutes, or let me finish this coffee and then I will come out and cuddle you. um, so that's been a big one. What do I want to start doing? I want to spend more time with loved ones. I love spending time with friends and family, but it's also hard sometimes for me to get the motivation to leave the house and go out and be around people. And so I want to make more of an effort there. I want to get back into more hobbies. I found reading. I want to rediscover all the things that I loved. Um, I want to create a peaceful home space. And I used to tease my husband, the boys have their room, you have your game room. Where's my space? And I started to realize that no, I need to make a space for myself. I can't just ask everyone else when do I get space. I need to make a point of creating those spaces for myself. So I'm going to work on that. And then just being more active. I it's something I've been putting off. I'm too tired. There's not time, so I'm gonna work on that. Um, how to maintain. One thing that I'm doing is just being present and thankful. I Once I started looking at my current self-care, I started realizing I was doing more self-care than I realized. Um, I just wasn't fully appreciating it. So it's really hard for something to affect you positively if you're just shoving it in where you can and it turns into a chore. But stopping and realizing, hey, this is a really nice moment that I'm having. Taking inventory of my needs, because like Carrie said, it's going to change from month to month, sometimes day to day, and just seeing where I need to be more mindful and initiating connection. I am working on checking in with friends and family, for no reason, just because I thought of you and I want you to know that I care about you, and reestablishing those connections because it's so easy for me to just not reach out. I don't want to bother you, but then I started to realize it shouldn't be a bother to someone to hear, "Hey, I was thinking of you. Just wanted you to know I care." So that's something that I've been working on. And my motivation, like Carrie, the kiddos, I really want to help them learn what I didn't learn until well into adulthood. So, I really want to lead by example. And then my husband, who has been just amazing helping me find myself. But like Carrie mentioned, I'm in those pictures too. So, one big motivation for me is appreciating and enjoying the life that I have. Uh, I I have such a great life and I don't always recognize it. So, my motivation is just building a life that is full of good memories and that I enjoyed instead of just constantly wondering why things aren't where I want them to be because they are. I just don't always recognize it. So that's my big motivator.
And then this one was just the questions. So if anybody does want to chat in um, any of the questions, what you're currently doing for self care, because again, we love to share ideas and suggestions, um, or anything that you want to start doing, how to maintain, or share your motivation. What is your motivation? Even like why did you join the call today? Are you hoping to improve your self-care? Are you starting your self-care from nothing? Okay, let's see. Let's check out the chats. Current self-care, alone time when everyone knows I just want to be alone for a bit with a book or something. Don't be ashamed to need alone time. Yeah, again, thank you for saying that because we have struggled with it. And I learned it like, no, it's important for me and I need it. I'm going to do it. To start, more active outside the house, exercise more, hang out with more people. Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Future, giving myself permission to be happy with my accomplishments, especially my creative accomplishments. Don't dwell on the negatives as much. Stop the constant self hate chit chat. Yes. And that is hard to do. Me and Alicia talked about this, how it took a time and effort to change, but that awareness, even like, that your inner dialogue is too negative is so important. Scheduling plans with friends, exercise. Exercise would probably help. And motivation is to start a new phase in life. I love that. I want to add alone time. Okay, see, everyone wants alone time. So yeah, absolutely. It's like, why are we feeling guilty about that? No, it's important. I don't know if you have kids. I'm assuming they're loud like mine, and yeah, you you need alone time. But even just from your job, from your what, just from the news, like we just need time to like kind of shut everybody out. Like sometimes I just want to stare at the wall. It's okay. Okay, we've got some more chats here. Current self care, spending time with friends and family, calls, text, in person. Yeah, that's a good point. Again, like we're not always have to go somewhere but yeah, just even a little text, I think, to cheer someone up too. Um, be doing what I really want and not agreeing to what others want to do. Hallelujah. Yes. Yes. I think yeah, that's so important. Right? Like I need to. I used to always people please, want to keep everyone happy, not make a fuss. And so I was just yes, yes, yes to everyone. And now I don't have the energy for that. I don't have the time for it. And that it is okay. Like say no. Learning to not always be a people pleaser, allow others to help and be okay with their way of doing things. Oh,
I
that
love that. I
yeah.
struggled with that. My husband would help me with things and it was never good enough and yeah, it was just so negative. And once I started just accepting that he's helping in the first place and it doesn't have to be my way, it was so much less stress.
You're right. No, you're right. The things I used to stress out about, like I used to be so mad at my kid's dad for not adding water into their juice because like they're having too much sugar. Like everything that he did was driving me crazy. And he was just taking care of the kids, like and yeah, and so many things you're right. Like I realized like, no, I can put all this mental energy too of like, into it's fine. Yeah, no, you're right. Letting people help. And like you kind of mentioned earlier too, with even just, yeah, like the house doesn't have to be sparkling clean, just I don't want to say like lowering your standards, but like adjusting your standards. Like,
Realistic.
this is a Better Homes and Gardens cover page. I was looking around my house today and I was like, okay, it's not It doesn't look, yeah, like a magazine, but it looks like a family lives here. It looks like kids play here, it looks like we're having fun. So, um, yeah, really, really like being okay with things not being perfect and letting other people help. It was so hard for me to ask for help in the beginning. Giving myself compassion. This is for to start doing. Giving myself compassion and being okay with small positive steps, being more maintaining self-care, making time with individuals that fill my cup in whatever I may need at that particular day and time. Yes, I know we mentioned earlier like unfriend, unfollow, say no. Yeah, like that's true. Give your time to those people that are filling up your cup, and the people that are draining it, you don't have to let them keep draining it. You don't. I don't care who they are. Yeah, like unfriend, unfollow, distancing people that are too negative. Yes, highly, highly support that. And I've had to do it myself. More therapies like art therapy, music therapy, yoga, dance. Yes. And again, these can be adaptive. These can be, you don't have to be like super talented at dance, but just doing it, trying it, moving your body, all of those things um, really do make us feel so much better. And motivation is loved ones, hubby, sons, parents, siblings, nieces, nephews, friends, etc. Yes, 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 definitely. Okay, we've got a few more examples, and I'm loving these. So I'm going to keep reading through them. Um, whoops, I went too far. Hold on. Okay. Distance self from negative people, meditation, reading self-help books, exercise and yoga, alone time. Yes. Working on establishing my boundaries, saying no more. Yeah, it's like that shouldn't be so hard, but it is. Um, yes, yes, establishing boundaries. I love that because I think so many of us as adults, that's what it is. We're establishing them. We didn't even have them before. So yes. Letting people help is good. We don't always like admitting that we need help. Yeah, again, that was so hard for me because I wanted to be the helper. I want to I want to help. And yeah, you're right. We don't always like admitting that we need help, but yeah. Um, Well, thank you guys so much for all of the chats. That was awesome. And this is our last slide, and we're right at 2 o'clock, so we're on time. Just like some quick announcements for you guys because we do an online Zoom workshop once a month. So next month we are looking at March 20th, which is a Wednesday. So that one will be in the evening, 6 p.m. Pacific time, and we're covering compassionate communication, and that's going to go a lot into self-talk and it's going to be cool. um, and that will be with Alicia and another one of our board members, David. And I'll probably just be attending, which is nice. Um, we are also doing, most of our events are on Zoom, but we are also doing healing in nature events, which are outdoor events. And we have one coming up Saturday, April 20th in the Fresno area. There will definitely be more details about this on all of our socials, but I wanted to announce it because I am excited. And again, this is a location that is wheelchair accessible. There are more difficult trails if you wanted to do that, but it's also accessible for anyone, for everyone, for mobility issues. It's just about just getting together and being outside and enjoying the nature. And then our link tree is there. Make sure you are following us just to, get all the info for upcoming workshops. There will be one every month. Um, and
So
then,
for the healing in nature, just throwing it out there, a lot of us put exercise and getting outdoors for our goals. So if anyone wants to do that in a nice, controlled, judgment-free, supportive environment, this is a great opportunity.
absolutely true. Yeah, yes, that's so true. And somebody did ask, where's the Fresno area? This is Fresno, California, and the Kings River Wildlife Reserve is like just outside of the city. Excuse me. But yeah, we'll definitely have more details, directions, the meetup spot, all the times on our website. So yeah, definitely just make sure you're following us. We're wherever you are, we're there. We've got an Insta, Facebook, uh, the Eventbrite. But we just hope that you will follow us because we would love to see you back next month or at future events. And are there any other questions or comments? Okay. Well, then I just want to thank all of you for being here with us. I especially want to thank my co host, Alicia. I feel this is so much better than if I would have tried to do it by myself. So thank you so much for just sharing so honestly. And I just want to say that I am so proud of every single one of you that showed up today, like just making 1 hour for yourself. Awesome. It's important and you're doing it. And I'm really proud of you. And then unless Alicia, do you want to say anything else to close up?
Just I'm so happy to see you all here, and thank you everyone for contributing to the conversation. We love to hear from you, and all the chats and everything were great to see. So thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. And this recording will be posted as well. So if you do want to rewatch it, or if you miss if you miss a workshop, they will be they're recorded and they'll be posted later. So thank you so much for joining us, and hope to see you next month.
Thank you, everyone.